Hey, welcome to the Ready to Lose podcast, where we look at what's going on in our brains to create the health and weight loss that we want. My name's Billy Blake, and I'm a certified life and weight loss coach determined to help women love themselves all the way to their goal. It's time to start losing weight in a way that actually feels like us and creating that healthy life that we love showing up for every single day. So tell me, are you ready to lose? Let's go. If you feel like you're still overeating, actually, no, you probably don't even feel like you're overeating, but you feel like you're trying. You feel like you've cleaned up your eating. You feel like you are taking action. You're trying to lose weight and nothing is happening. This episode is for you because most women are not overeating in big, obvious ways. They are small, sneaky ways that feel totally normal. They are the sneaky ways of overeating that are keeping the weight on. So today I'm breaking down those little overeating mistakes that you might not even realize you're making and how they're quietly adding up into stalled weight loss or not losing weight or even gaining weight. Yes, little moments can even lead to weight gain. Hello, welcome back to the podcast, where we are done with dieting and are learning how to lose weight for the last frickin' time. And just a quick reminder before we dive in, if lose weight is on your New Year's resolutions list, you need to hear this, okay? Hungry Girl Bootcamp starts January 7th. 8 weeks of coaching and support that teaches you how to listen to your body's hunger signals and stop overeating. No, we're not tracking, restricting, or doing methods that we keep falling off of and have to restart every Monday. So if you're done with dieting, counting calories, tracking points, trying to hit a protein goal, buying extra supplements, you've done all those things and you still feel frustrated, confused, or hopeless around food, this group is for you. If you want to just live at a lower weight without constantly managing yourself and going on and off diets, this group is for you. Because the most important tool for weight loss is already built into your body. It is your hunger signals. But the problem is, most of us were taught to ignore them. Diet culture literally drives a wedge between you and your body. Naturally thin people, or those people you know who eat the burger, the fries, and they're not gaining weight, they are listening to their hunger and fullness without thinking about it. And yes, you can learn how to do this too. It is a skill that you can build. So in 8 weeks, I'm going to teach you how. And if you need proof, just one little extra piece of proof, if you're on the fence, you're not sure, here's what one of our past group clients has said. She said, "It's probably not a coincidence that I listened to 440 minutes of the podcast, completed the course, and lost over 25 pounds this year. Thank you for everything. Merry Christmas." Okay, so if it hasn't been happening yet, it is time to give yourself the tools and accountability to make it happen. Join Hungry Girl Bootcamp. Today, though, I am sharing the sneaky ways that you might still be overeating because these are the ones that trip people up the most. Like, we all recognize the obvious moments. Maybe you had 5 Christmas cookies last night instead of 1. Maybe you said F it on a night out with friends, or you leave a meal feeling uncomfortably stuffed. You're like, okay, yes, this is not good for me and my weight loss. Those moments, they feel loud, they feel obvious. But what actually holds most women back are the quiet habits, the little overeating moments that honestly feel normal, justified, or even harmless, but they slowly add up to stalled progress. So if you've ever thought, okay, I feel like I'm doing everything and nothing is working, this is probably why. And before we break them down, I want to just really capture this of how these moments add up over time, okay? Y'all know one of my favorite self-development books is The Compound Effect. And in that book, he gives this example about how these little moments, little decisions do compound and add up over time. There's an example he gives where there are 3 friends. They're all around the same weight. They have like the same habits, okay? One of these friends decides to keep everything the same. He doesn't really change much. He eats the same things, has the same exercise routine, whatever. Another friend decides to add in an extra drink at night a few nights a week. Okay, he starts drinking a little more during the week. Not every day, maybe like 2 or 3 times, okay? And then the third friend decides to maybe have a little less at dinner. Okay, he decides to do that. It's not a ton, like a few bites. He starts leaving bites behind like we talk about at Ready to Lose. Okay? These little moments don't seem like they're too much. Like, what's the harm? What's the difference? Does it really matter? And in a few days, it really doesn't make a difference. Even in a few weeks, maybe the change is minimal. But over time, months down the line, this is leading to changes in their physique and how they feel and in their health overall, right? Like, we know drinking doesn't always feel great. So adding that in, he might be gaining weight, but also feeling more lethargic. It's harder to do other things in his day-to-day. He sleeps in a little more. It starts compounding in different ways. The one who cuts back a little bit at dinner because he was kind of eating a little too much, he starts listening to his body, leaving a couple bites behind. Okay, over time, he is losing weight. He has lost weight from that. Maybe he's feeling a little more energized. After dinner, he doesn't feel like he needs to just go chill on the couch and take a nap. Maybe he is engaging more with his family. He is, working on a side hobby that he wants to be doing, whatever it is. Or maybe he's just getting better sleep because he's not overeating. There's things that add up over time that are small. They all compound. And that's just one example. They each just changed one thing. There are multiple moments throughout your day right now that are probably keeping you from losing weight. They are the sneaky ways that you are overeating that are keeping you stuck. So now that you kind of get why this matters, why it's important, maybe even more important than the big things you think about, right? Like the holidays. Everyone's always stressed about Christmas, but there's that saying, it doesn't matter how you eat Christmas through New Year's. What actually matters is how you eat New Year's through Christmas, okay? Yes, it's cheesy. Yes, you hear it everywhere, but it's also true. There are so many decisions that we make every day. One big meal feels like it's more important, feels like it's something I should stress about more, when really there's these little moments that we're justifying every day that are adding up to not losing weight over time. So let's break them down. The first one kind of ties into our example. It is serving yourself the same amount of food every time. This is number one for a reason, because it's the most common way that women are accidentally overeating. So if you aren't losing weight, it's not because your body's broken. Okay, yes, I'm a broken record when I say this, but it's true. Your body's not broken. It's just that you don't need the same amount of food that you're used to eating. And this one is sneaky because you might be eating healthier. You might have already lost some weight. So it feels logical to keep eating the same way. This happens a ton when people start losing weight. They change their eating a little. They're like, okay, I'm ready to lose. I'm ready to listen to my hunger cues a little bit. And they do at the start. But then they kind of get stuck in like, this is how much I eat. And then they even have that thought, oh, well, this is how I've been eating and it worked. I, should be able to keep eating this way. But your hunger isn't static. Your needs change even from day to day. So it's really easy though to get stuck in, this is what I always do. This is what I have to keep doing. And I don't want to stress you out because I know when I hear, even now when I think about challenging how much food I eat, my brain wants to jump to that old story of like, I have to be eating way less. That's not it. It's not about eating way less. It's really just a few bites. So you don't need to cut carbs. You don't need to have tiny little portions or measure everything out every time you eat. You just have to be willing to serve yourself slightly less. Or you just leave a couple bites behind, right? These two go together. They're kind of two ways to do the same thing. But challenge how much food you need. If you keep eating the same amount of food, if you look at the past few weeks, you're like, oh yeah, I do kind of serve myself the same amount. Do you actually need that much? That's it. Just serve yourself a little less. The second sneaky way you're overeating is that you are eating all day without ever feeling hungry. So if you are snacking each day or eat because it's time to, you may not be letting hunger show up in your day. And hunger is something that a normal, healthy body does feel. Saying that as someone who used to never feel hungry, I made it my mission to never feel hungry, okay? So when I started listening to my hunger cues, I actually started intermittent fasting accidentally, okay? I wasn't actually trying to, but when I was actually waiting to feel hungry, I realized I was never hungry in the morning. So I'd wait till lunch and then eat then. And the reason this was happening was I was overeating at night. So, right, if I'm eating a lot at night, it would make sense that the next morning when I wake up, I'm not hungry. So now I actually do eat breakfast because I have worked on that overeating at night. But the point isn't when you eat. It's not that intermittent fasting is the answer. It's whether you are eating when you are hungry or just because it's a habit to eat at certain times. The third way that you might be overeating is that you are eating without seeing it. Okay, here's what I mean. Maybe you grab bites while cooking. You're always taste testing. You snack off the counter. You eat while distracted. You grab something from the break room real quick. These moments feel small, but they do add up fast. One of the most powerful shifts we teach is letting yourself see you're eating off a plate, sitting down, not being distracted, because you can't change what you don't see. And in fact, this is one that a lot of people are doing. They're like, I'm doing everything and I'm not seeing results. And they're not seeing these little snacky moments, these little, oh, that doesn't matter. It's just a little bit. They're not seeing this eating, so they can't change it. So they do feel stuck. The fourth way you're overeating is that you're eating more because it's healthy. It's good for me. Sneaky, sneaky, sneaky. Because broccoli is healthy. Salads are healthy. Protein is healthy. But eating more than your body needs, even of healthy foods, is still overeating. It is not healthy for you. So this belief keeps you comfortable, but also keeps you stuck. And the fifth way that you are overeating is that you are waiting until you are too hungry. Okay, and this one is, we're going to put the blame on diet culture here. This one is definitely diet culture's fault. A lot of us learn to restrict when our body is actually asking for food, and then we're overeating later to compensate for it when our body doesn't need as much food, and it keeps you stuck in a cycle. Inside Hungry Girl Bootcamp, we're teaching the hunger scale so you know when to eat and when to stop before things spiral. There is a sweet spot to eat and to stop eating. And once you find it, food gets so much easier. It is easier to not obsess. It is easier to listen to your body. It makes it easier to eat for what your body needs, which then helps you lose weight. So if you are listening to this and you're thinking, okay, yeah, I'm not really binging. I'm not totally out of control with food, but I can see how some of these things are happening in my life and how they're adding up. I don't want you to be discouraged by this, okay? This is good to know. That is powerful to know because these aren't, personality defects that you're stuck with. They're just habits you've learned around food. Habits are learnable and unlearnable. And that's exactly why Hungry Girl Bootcamp exists. Not to tell you what to eat, not to give you another plan that you need to follow perfectly, not to give you more rules, but to help you see your eating clearly, respond intentionally to your hunger, and rebuild trust with your body in real life. For 8 weeks, we're practicing how to notice your hunger before you get to that starving place, how to stop eating without panicking, how to handle cravings without eating for them, how to eat intentionally instead of unconsciously, how to know if it's emotional or if you're actually hungry. This is going to help you be consistent, to trust yourself around food again, and stop obsessing. Hungry Girl Bootcamp starts January 7th. You can save your spot by clicking the link in the show notes. And whether you join us or not, remember, you're not still overeating because you're just too out of control with food or you suck at this. You're still overeating because no one taught you how to listen to your body. And once you learn that skill, everything changes. All right? So remember, you've totally got this. And I'll talk to you in the new year. I'll see you in 2026. Talk to you next week. Bye. Thank you for taking time today to listen in. If this helped you at all, be sure to share it with a friend so she can stop feeling stuck and start creating the health and self-love she deserves. Or post it to social media and tag me so I can personally thank you for helping me get the message out. I am so excited to be on this journey with you. Keep showing up for you. You'll get there. Talk to you soon.